Whoa! Charles Leclerc having to catch it. Ferrari driver is through to second place.
Same car, same track, same weekend. One driver called it the happiest moment of his Ferrari career.
Happiest day of my Ferrari so far.
The other said he felt like he was going to crash at every single corner.
It was a horrible weekend. The most difficult weekend of my Formula One career so far.
Montreal didn't just expose a performance gap. It exposed something far more dangerous. A fracture forming inside the most storied team in Formula One history. And hidden underneath the drama, buried inside the sector data that Ferrari did not want the world to see, was a number so alarming it sent shockwaves through the entire paddock. More than 20 horsepower behind Mercedes. So here is the question nobody inside Maranello wants to answer. What happens when a 7-time world champion finally falls in love with a car that still isn't powerful enough to win? And what happens to the man who built his entire identity around that same car when confidence abandons him completely? Ferrari arrived in Canada believing the weekend would be difficult. Manageable, but difficult. They were wrong. Because Montreal is the worst possible circuit to hide an engine weakness. Long straights, heavy braking zones, constant acceleration demands. If your power unit is missing performance there, everybody sees it. And everybody saw it. From the very first practice session, Charles Leclerc returned to the garage, describing something drivers fear more than being slow. Unpredictability. Not lack of pace. Not tire wear. Unpredictability under braking. A car that behaved differently every single time he touched the brake pedal. A car he simply could not trust. That feeling followed him through Friday, through Saturday, all the way to the checkered flag on Sunday. But that was just the start. Because while Leclerc was spiraling, Lewis Hamilton was doing something almost nobody noticed on television. He stopped trying to force the car into performance. Instead, lap by lap, he started driving around its limitations. Earlier braking points, smoother rotation, softer inputs on corner entry, small, invisible adjustments. But adjustments that completely changed what the SF26 did underneath him. And this is where the story gets dark. Ferrari's engineers were not just watching two drivers perform differently. They were watching two completely opposite emotional trajectories unfold inside the same garage. Leclerc losing confidence corner by corner. Hamilton building it, quietly, lap by lap. Same car, completely different reality. When the safety car arrived after Russell's retirement, Ferrari reacted instantly. Hamilton into the pits. Fresh hard tires. A 2.4-second stop. And suddenly, the energy around the entire Ferrari garage transformed. Lewis rejoined the track, and he no longer looked cautious. He looked dangerous. The gap to Verstappen collapsed. 3 seconds, then 2, then 1. And Ferrari engineers finally saw something they had been waiting months to see. The SF26 alive underneath Hamilton. Not perfect. Still vulnerable on the straights. Still missing raw power. But balanced enough for him to trust it under braking. And in Formula One, trust changes everything. But here is the twist nobody was prepared for. Because while Hamilton's brilliance saved the weekend on the surface, Canada had actually exposed something far more serious underneath it. Ferrari left Montreal with a podium. But internally, the team knew the weekend had revealed a much bigger structural problem. An engine deficit so significant, it cannot be hidden by setup changes, driver talent, or race strategy alone. Physics, eventually, always wins. When Ferrari compared their GPS traces against Mercedes and Red Bull after Canada, the pattern became impossible to ignore. Time lost on corner exits. Time lost through mid-straight acceleration. Time lost on top speed recovery. Tiny losses everywhere, every lap. More than 20 horsepower behind Mercedes. That is not a setup problem. That is not a tire management problem. That is a power unit crisis. And it explains everything that happened in Montreal with brutal clarity. When a car lacks straight-line power, drivers are forced to recover lap time through corners. That means later braking, more aggressive rotation, earlier throttle. But those aggressive adjustments only work if the car feels stable and predictable underneath you. Hamilton slowly found that stability. Leclerc never did. Every limitation amplified another. Lack of power forced harder braking. Harder braking overheated the tires. Overheated tires destroyed balance. Destroyed balance killed confidence. And once Leclerc lost confidence, his words after the race said everything. He admitted he never once felt truly connected to the car during the entire weekend. For an elite driver, that admission is not frustration. That is a warning sign. Meanwhile, by lap 62, Hamilton was doing something that revealed exactly how far his adaptation had come. 6 laps remaining. Verstappen directly ahead. Turn 1 approaching. He attacked around the outside. Drivers do not attempt that move unless they completely trust the car. Not against Verstappen. Not in Montreal. Not while fighting for a podium. Hamilton committed anyway. Late braking. Perfect rotation. Total control. And in that single moment, Ferrari saw the driver they had spent months waiting for. Not surviving. Not experimenting. Competing on pure instinct. After Canada, Hamilton openly said he finally understood the car far better and felt genuinely happy inside Ferrari. That sentence may become one of the defining moments of this entire season. Because confidence in Formula One is contagious. Once a driver trusts braking, he attacks corners differently. Once he trusts corners, he protects tires better. Once tires stabilize, race pace transforms. Everything connects. But here is the painful contradiction Ferrari must now face. While Hamilton's confidence is rising, the championship gap is growing at exactly the same time. Mercedes extended their advantage after Canada. Ferrari lost more ground. Not because the drivers failed, because the car could no longer hide what was missing. And now, inside Maranello, there is growing belief that the FIA's engine recalibration system may represent Ferrari's only realistic path to recovering performance during this season. Elite teams hate needing regulatory assistance. They want dominance through development, not emergency intervention. But Ferrari may have reached the point where they simply have no choice. The emotional center of the garage also quietly shifted in Canada. Leclerc has been Ferrari's central figure for years, the future, the long-term leader. But Formula One teams gravitate naturally toward momentum, toward confidence, toward the driver delivering solutions. Right now, that driver is Lewis Hamilton, and everyone inside that garage already feels it. Scenario 1. Ferrari receives additional engine development freedom through the FIA recalibration process. Hamilton continues adapting at his current pace. By the final third of the season, the SF26 becomes something genuinely dangerous. And rivals who underestimated Canada realize their mistake far too late. Scenario 2. The engine deficit proves too deep, too structural, too late to solve within this regulation cycle. Hamilton delivers extraordinary performances, but consistently falls just short of victories. And Ferrari endures the most painful situation imaginable, a driver finally ready to win, inside a car that still cannot fully deliver it. Scenario 3. The internal fracture grows. Momentum inside the garage continues shifting. Leclerc, one of the most talented drivers of his generation, begins questioning everything. And Ferrari faces a crisis that goes far beyond horsepower, a human crisis that no upgrade can repair. Can Ferrari fix the engine before the season slips perm? Inently out of reach? Or has Canada already revealed that the SF26's biggest problem was never mechanical, it was always structural? One thing is certain. This season is no longer about who is fastest on a single lap. It is about who survives the pressure when the data tells a truth the team was not ready to hear. And Ferrari's truth is only just beginning to surface.